good morning. My name is Scott.
My name is Jeff.
And we are very excited. We're doing something brand new. Are you nervous?
New can be scary sometimes, yeah.
It is. I'm kind of nervous, but I think we can manage it. We got a pretty good rapport, and we actually like each other, so that's helpful. Mm-hmm. If you don't know who we are, let me take a moment to introduce ourselves. You want to go first?
Sure. My name is Jeff Shelton, and I'm the worship minister here at Johnson Street. I've been here almost 2 years. Before coming here, we lived in North Idaho for about 10 years. Before that, we were in Carlsbad, New Mexico, and in Andrews, Texas before that. So kind of have some roots in the West Texas area, and so it's kind of nice to be back and be closer to family.
And you've been doing this for, what, 15 years?
I did youth ministry for about 20 years, and now doing full-time worship ministry.
Wow.
So it's kind of a little bit of a change, and I'm learning and growing. But
it's kind of a new season for you.
Yeah, but I've always had a heart for worship, and I think God's gifted me in that, so it's kind of exciting.
Well, you got a great family. He's got everybody in his family is a singer, and it's awesome when they all get together and sing. Yeah. Can I call you the Von Shelton family singers?
We've been called that before. I'm not wearing lederhosen.
Although that would probably bring people to church on a Sunday. Good, yeah. I just think he's great, and it's good that you're here. So I'm Scott Allen. I've been here about a little over 4 years now, and I've been in ministry in some way, shape, or form for over 20 plus years, and really I've been preaching since 2014 or so. But I've been at this church for 4 years, and it's great. I never thought in a million years I'd live in San Angelo, Texas, but here we are. We'll get to the San Angelo here in a little bit, but yeah, I've been able to make some great relationships here. I've been able to explore some new ideas and topics, and this is just a great group of people here. I've been married for about 25 years now. I've got 2 great kids. I grew up in Arlington. The fact with the place that I grew up, the school and church that I used to go to is now parking lot 15B for Jerry Jones Stadium. Nice. And reunions are interesting, but anyway, that's where I grew up. We lived in Houston for about 15 or 16 years, and now here I am, West Texas. So this is who we are. I'm Scott, this is Jeff, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about our church family. So this is new. So tell us a little bit about what we're doing here.
So we're wanting to kind of have this conversation to really talk about the people here at Johnson Street, what's happening with our church, and really kind of one of my favorite things to talk about is the why we do what we do, right. And how we can really bless this community here in San Angelo.
Yeah, our church has been here a long time, and about almost 125 years now. And there are some churches that are old churches, and they're old, and you go in and they're old churches. They aren't as active, and this church is an old church, but it is not an old church.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still very much energetic, and the Spirit is still very much moving here in some pretty profound ways. That's
one of the things that really drew me and my family here was just to see the rich history that Johnson Street has here. But you're right, it's not. I mean, it's an old church, but it doesn't feel like an old church. It's got people that are wanting to move and do things, and that's exciting.
So for you, coming from Idaho all the way back here to West Texas, what was it that drew you to this church family, to this part of the world?
We really love how involved Johnson Street is in the community. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest draws for us was the physical placement of Johnson Street with the ASU campus.
Right, Angelo State University.
Angelo State University being right here on campus, having a full-time campus ministry, being in youth ministry for so many years. Since I had my own kids in my youth ministry, I was feeling a little old for youth ministry. And so my wife and I thought, maybe we can, get involved in the college ministry and kind of graduate up a little bit. And so that's one of the things that really excited us about being here was the campus center.
And it is interesting talking to people whenever they're looking for a new position and there's a position open, and they hear San Angelo, West Texas, they think this is a small town. I'll say some people have said, it's kind of a hick West Texas town. This is not a hick West Texas town. And I know we've had that conversation before, but this is a pretty diverse area. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it really is. There's, a wide diversity of people and likes and dislikes, and you can find it all here. So it's interesting.
That's exactly right. And what I love is that our church family was one of the very first churches in San Angelo, but we have kind of made our mark here, kind of have a footprint here, and so whenever you look at the legacy, or let's just say the footprint again that some churches leave, ours has made a lot of marks here. We have our Christian Campus Center. It's on the campus of Angelo State. Angelo State's probably around 10,000, 11,000 students, maybe 6,000 local, a lot of commuters and online students. But the campus center's been there since the 50s, 60s, and it's there's been a lot of people go through that place, just providing some sort of a community and atmosphere for these people. What else do you see?
I'm still fairly new here, and so I'm still kind of learning the history. I love what this congregation has done with Rush Street and really being a help to the community. That's, I think, the wonderful ministry. But I'm still learning a little bit about who we are, and it's kind of exciting to learn all the rich history.
Yeah, Rush Street started, if you don't know about Rush Street started in the mid-'80s, and it started out as a way they wanted just to help give clothes to less fortunate people, some of those homeless folks, but also people who just, needed a little help. And it started very meagerly, but has since grown to a 30,000 square foot space, and they offer clothing and food and furniture and bicycles, and it is quite amazing the things that they do, and this started from just people here at this church, and so that's one thing. There's also relationships with our city that have been built. We have a very good relationship with our those leadership at ASU, with really downtown. We have a lot of people in positions where we just have a good relationship with our people. So this is a church that's not necessarily in a city, but it's actually part of this city. It's helped shape this city, and that's what I think is kind of neat.
So that's a little bit about who we are. Yeah. What are we doing? Why are we doing?
Okay, so
what is this we're talking here?
So we already communicate things that we do here. Our church it does a lot, and we have a lot of ways to communicate that. So just off the top of your head, what are some ways we communicate things that we do?
This was always one of my biggest pet peeves in youth ministry is, I'd put out, all these ways of getting the word out there, and I'd still have kids and parents calling me the day of activities. But we communicate in a lot of ways. We have, our daily emails sent out to people. We have social media posts that we do. We have our announcements on Sunday. We have bulletins. What else do we do?
We do social media posts. We have a daily email. Did you say that? I said
all that.
Well, it's a lot. I'm trying to think. Do we have anything else? Our app.
That's right.
There you go. We have a lot of things that we say through a lot of different venues and different mediums. And there are still some people who say, well, I didn't know anything about that. Why don't you put that? Why don't you print a bulletin? We used to print bulletins, and we haven't done that.
Secret is we still do.
The secret is we still do. There are
Not
about
many people know.
10 to 25 available every Sunday for you. You just got to look for it, but they're there. But this is going to be simply, I think, another layer of communication for a lot of the things that we do.
And our hope is that it's more than just another way of getting the word out about things, but we want to really kind of go deeper into the purpose behind it, and purpose behind the things that we do, and almost kind of get a behind the scenes look at some of the things that are happening.
In some ways it'll be a deep dive, but in some ways it might be brand new to you, because some of you may not know all the things that we're going to be talking about over the next several podcasts. But I think it's important, though, that we tell you why that we're doing this. Sometimes we, I think, mistake this church, this idea of Johnson Street, for an institution. We kind of mistake it for, it's always like the they. Well, they did, or they are, and the they don't really have names or faces.
And it's kind of in our language, for Sunday mornings when, I get up to lead worship. hey, good morning, Johnson Street. And so it's kind of in our language, and we don't want to ever, forget to tell people that when we say, hey, Johnson Street, that it's not an institution.
Right.
It's not just a thing, that it's people.
It's people. And in reality, this has been a group of people that has managed to stay together for 125 years.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And they still like each other, right? And it's still a group of people that loves to come here. Now, COVID has reshaped the way church operates these days. It really has almost ushered in a brand new era. But this group still participates, even if it's online, even if it's in person. We'd rather than be here, but we understand this is a new world now. Mm-hmm. And so, this is a group of people that have stayed together for over 125 years. It's not just a corporation. It's not just a faceless entity. It's a collection of people. But we also know that things change. Seasons change.
COVID really nailed that point home to us, that things change. Yeah. And we have to be flexible and be willing to adjust and change with the times. And so, the same is true with our church, the physical building. Buildings wear down eventually. Yeah. And so we have to adapt and change and repair and build. And same is true with people too.
I kind of look at it as we are in a season of change. We're in almost like the cusp. So when I got here, things were a lot different. We had a different staff, and we had, it was just a season of change with the new minister being hired. And over the last 4 years, we have had almost a complete staff change. Now, this wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't like some major event happened. There have been people that have been ready to leave, and because I was able to come on and they finally had opportunities to leave. This has been just a season of change. It's been hard. It's been difficult, but it's also kind of exciting because we have a bunch of new people who are now energetic and raring to go to usher our church into a new season of ministry and community.
That's one of the things I'm really excited about is the team that we have in place right now. Man, it's a great team, and I love being a part of it and working with all these people. I get to, me personally, I kind of get to have my hand in working with each other minister in some regard a little bit, and it's a blessing, and I love each one of them, and I love that they have a passion and a desire for God and for this church here, and I'm looking forward to exciting things happening in the future.
And these aren't all just ministers here at this church. I mean, we've got people that are at the campus center that are ministering to college students, which is a mission field all in itself. Our next generation is in dire need of attention and connection. And then we've got those people at Russ Street who also join us for staff meetings, but they have a whole different ministry, and so we are able to kind of feed off each other. And so one thing that really happens that I notice is whenever you get new people coming into a building that is older, everybody has fresh eyes, and you start seeing those things that may need attention, things that we've called kind of grown used to. And so you start seeing the things that need repair. And, there's this one place in one of our stairwells that ever since I got here, it's the molding's just a little off, right? And it bothers me, but I know we need to address it, right? So there's other things that need addressing. Steeple is one of those, right? What did you think about our steeple when you first showed up?
Well, I had never been at a place with such a tall, old-looking steeple.
Right.
And I don't know if I can say this, my son has climbed up into it.
Well, yeah, you have to.
I haven't. I'm kind of scared of heights.
Well, we need to do that. I think the bees are gone, so we're all good.
It's looking a little rickety, though. I don't know if I trust being up there.
Well, it's funny because this was a marker, an identifiable marker of our church, and the original builders wanted that there. And if you notice, what is so interesting about our church is that we used to be downtown, and they moved to this edge of town here. The campus was not around us like it is. It was there, but we were at the edge of town. But they chose one of the highest spots in San Angelo so that that you could see the steeple from almost everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's so cool whenever I leave my house and I'm on my way to church, I see the steeple. And so that is an identifier of who we are. Now, it needs repair. We fixed it 10 plus years ago, and it's just messing up now. And it's, the louvers are kind of bent in, and, it was great around Halloween, right? A little creepy, but we decided, to talk about we needed to repair a steeple. And so some people wanted to get rid of it.
I was going to say, not everybody just wanted to repair it. Some people are just like, let's just get rid of it.
That's right. They're ready to get rid of it. And so Greg Janes, he's our digital outreach minister. He decided to give us some pictures of what it would look like without the steeple. And being on a college campus, it suddenly looked like a library.
I never saw those pictures.
You didn't?
No. Huh?
It looked like a government building, and some of our people went, "Oh no!" Now we have no character whatsoever. So I think they decided, through those conversations, we need to keep and we need to make it better, almost a new steeple, really, just because that's kind of it's not necessarily defines who we are, but it lets people know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's a part of our history.
It is a part of our history. But I think that, even some of the things that we think are good markers of who we are, people still become blind to it. So we thought if we updated it, worked a little bit, then people would see it again in some way, shape, or form.
So it's a new steeple, same people.
That's right. We are the same people. We're not any different really than we were. We're still people who are doing the things we want to do. But yes, that's exactly right. New steeple, same people. I like that.
So that's part of the why we're doing this,
right.
Is to kind of give a deeper look into who these same people are, what their gifts are, what their passions are, what they're doing for the Lord, and why they're doing it, right?
That's right. Our people have been listening to the Holy Spirit for years, decades, and it's amazing to see just how much the faith of people. They weren't all right. They weren't all wrong. We aren't perfect, but these are people who listen and follow the Holy Spirit, and hopefully the new season we're ushering in is going to be the same. I mean, the same people listening to God and doing what He wants. But hopefully this podcast will get us give us more of an idea of who these people are and just how passionate, like you said, they are to better our community, but also to reach people for Christ.
Yeah, totally. And hopefully in that too, people who are listening to this or watching this can be encouraged by that and grow in their own faith and find ways that they might be able to plug in and serve alongside them too.
That's right. This isn't just for Johnson Street people. Hopefully it'll be for others who want to maybe hear a little bit more about some ideas that maybe they can implement, or just be encouraged, that here in West Texas, small West Texas town, although, did you know we used to be on a Trivial Pursuit question?
No.
Yeah, San Angelo was on a Trivial Pursuit question.
Something about sheep?
No, we were the sheep and mohair capital of the world, not anymore. But this is what it was. It was, what is the largest city in America not on an interstate?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now that's changed since, but we were on the map at some point. But our city right here it's like the jewel of West Texas. It's just a little different, and I think what I found is that God is very much active here, and a lot of that is through this congregation. So we may have to get a new steeple, but we're still the same people.
That's right. One of the things we want to do with future episodes is we talk about some of these people, who they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it. We kind of want to end with what do they need, or how can we help, what can we do to assist them. Right. So what would you say now? What do we need from listeners right now?
Well, if you're still listening and are watching, then great. Thank you for that. Hopefully they'll get better, right? This is a little rough right now.
No promises.
No promises. But I am going to try to, have a mug of coffee every time that we meet. maybe something different. But what I would love for you to do is to just share this podcast, tell people about it, right?
And we want you to be involved in this as well. If there are things that you want to know about or questions that you might have, drop us a comment. Yeah. Let us know what we might do to talk about that is, would be beneficial to you.
Right. If there's something that happens, if you're a John Street member, if something that happens here at church and you want to know, hey, why do we do that? Let us know. There's some information in the show notes below. We'll also have in future episodes a link specifically that you can go maybe fill it out online. Let us know a question or two, and we'll try to address some of that in future episodes. But yeah, that's what we need. We just need you to kind of talk about it and listen to it and get excited for us. But really pray for us, because I think that what we're doing is not just fluff. This is hopefully going to get us all closer together, and knowing that we are all a part of such a big organization here, and we're not just people who are members of a local corporation, but God is a global organization.
And I like to say not an organization, but an organism.
Oh yeah, I like that, because it is living and breathing and
That's
changing
right.
and growing. So hopefully through these conversations we'll all become more in touch with what God's doing, and maybe even be inspired to do something more. So, welcome to the New People.
New Steeple.
Oh, sorry, hang on. Welcome to the
New Steeple.
Same People podcast. All right, I like that. Well, I'm Scott.
I'm Jeff.
And we hope to see you next time.